So on the next tile, you're going to be going to a website that has this food chain game I'm about to show you that you're going to play, and it starts out pretty easy and shows you lots of different examples of food chains, but I want to also use this to take some notes. So what I'm going to do is show you how the website works, and then I'm going to stop part of the way through and have you draw a specific food chain and label the parts in your notes. And this is going to go on the same page where you wrote those definitions about predator and prey, producer and consumer, and all that. So if you've got room on that page, it'll go on that page, and you won't really need much space, maybe about 1/3 of a page. So here's the website. You just click on play the game, and it starts out really easy. You can see here we've got the different parts, and it has the words for each of them of the food chain. And remember that food chains always start with producers, something that made its own food. So we've got a bird, flower, and caterpillar, and of course the flower would be first, so you just drag it, and then notice there's an arrow from the flower to the next organism. That means, remember, the arrow points to the eater. So the caterpillar eats the flower, and then the caterpillar gets eaten by the bird. Remember, the arrow points to the eater. Now when I put this last organism in the food chain, it's going to animate it, and things are going to get pretty intense here, as you'll see. Oh, he didn't even see it coming, did he? Now let's go on to the next one. So this one's a little bit longer. We've got a snake, a mouse, a hawk, and acorns. And remember, we're looking for producers for the start, something that made its own food, the photosynthesis, plant or an algae, something that photosynthesizes. So acorns. And then what do you think eats the acorns? Yep, the mouse. And then the snake eats the mouse. And then I'm not going to put the hawk in place yet because it's going to animate the food chain and it'll go away, because this is the one I want you to draw. So pause the video now. Draw this entire food chain, the acorns, the mouse, the hawk, the snake and the hawk. Label each part and make sure you put the arrows between them. Underneath it, write down our trick, that the arrow always points to the eater. This is what I'm specifically going to be looking in your scientist notebook for, to see that you finish this blend space. So pause the video while you draw this food chain, label the parts, acorns, mouse, snake, and hawk, and then write the trick, the arrow points to the eater. Now that you drew that food chain and labeled all those parts and wrote our trick, the arrow points to the eater, I'm going to put it into action by putting this last organism at the top of this particular food chain in place. And now the snake's going to eat. Oh my. Let's go on to the next one. Now we've got big fish, small fish, dolphin, and algae. So what goes first? Which of these makes its own food? Yes, algae. Now, algae aren't plants. They remind us, they're actually part of the produce kingdom, but they remind us a lot of plants. You can see they're green. That lets us know they're carrying out photosynthesis. Then what would be next? Yeah, the small fish, then the big fish, and then finally the dolphin. So you get the picture, and it seems pretty simple, but each level you go through, you'll start to see more details, and it gets a little more complex. Okay, go to the next tile and take your notes and play the game.